Scares me when everybody gets so quiet. Do what? All right. We'll call tonight's meeting to order. I'll ask you to silence your phone if you haven't already. And I'm going to ask Chief Page if he will offer our invocation tonight.
Heavenly Father God, Lord, we come to you. We thank you for this beautiful day. God, we thank you for protecting hand for our guys today. God, thank you for being with our council tonight. Lord, help them make decisions that would be honoring to you in the best interest of our city. God, thank you for all the many blessings you give us. Just lead and guide and direct us in all things. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chief. Items of community interest. Cindy, I would like for you to tell us what we're doing this week and why. Okay. We have an event Thursday night.
So as many of you have heard, we are doing a concert, a free concert at the community center. It's called Light Up the Night, and it is to help support our Christmas light fundraiser to put the twinkle lights back on tops of the buildings that we lost during the tornado. And it's David Adam Burns, and it is brought to you courtesy of Steen Entertainment and Promotions by Dylan Steen. So we're very excited. It starts the doors open at 6:30. So concert's at 7. It is free, and we are taking donations, and we would like to see everybody there. So it's going to be a fun night, and it's you bring your supper and have a good concert with us. So
Again, it's by donations, and we've had lots of requests for city lights back up on our buildings downtown from lots of people all over town, not just within our own organization. So I would like to express how much I'd like to see the community come out and support us. And if you can't get there, you're welcome to write us a check and send us a donation.
that's right.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, yes. It's April 27th, so yes.
So lots of people are eager to see the lights on the top of the buildings on the two downtown streets, Smythe and Mason. So we appreciate that. Thank you very
As
much.
Mildred says, we don't have a square, we have a block.
We have a block. We do. We have a block. Thank you very much,
All right,
Cindy. I
thank you.
appreciate that. Do we have anything else that anybody needs to mention for? Oh, I know we do. We have an actor amongst us that she might want to tell us about what she's doing this week.
Oh, that's lovely. We have the Murder at the Pie Auction play, murder mystery play that has a meal, and that is on Friday. We have a showing at 6, and then on Saturday we have 12 and 6, I believe. Is it what?
1 at noon and 1 at 5.
See, Mildred knows. I'm there all day. So anyway, that play, can't think today. The proceeds from that play go to the Bowie Alliance for Education of Arts, which provides scholarships for local kids.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I went to it last year. It was absolutely fantastic. Yes, yes.
Oh, I forgot. I am sorry. That's at Freedom Life Church, 204 Theater Road.
And Mildred?
Also, during the mention, they will have a pie auction for your dessert, and I have volunteered to make a pecan pie.
Good to know. Couple of things. Debbie, I'm going to go ahead and speak for the chamber if you don't mind.
That's fine.
We have a golf tournament Saturday out at Twisted Oaks Golf Course. 2 flights. You can still call the chamber office if you want to play. Proceeds of it go to help fund the chamber for the year and promote the city of Bowie and the businesses that are members within the city of Bowie. This weekend, we also have the citywide garage sale. Jason, please tell your wife that this weekend is the citywide garage sale.
I planned it that way ahead.
So we that's Friday, Saturday, and I guess if they choose to do it Sunday. And I think that's all the items of interest we have. So, Bert, if you'd like to take over, we'll hear on the Bowie Dam.
I don't have to go to the garage sale, do
Absolutely, every single one of them.
I? No. I'm probably fixing to tell y'all more than you really want to know about dams and dam breaches and stuff. I signed an agreement this last week with Barrett, Hampton, and Brown Engineers for a breach analysis and an emergency action plan for the old Bowie Lake Dam. TCEQ has given the go-ahead and will pay for this work by the damned engineers. Y'all didn't know we were working with damned engineers, did you? The analysis consists of collecting data from us and TCEQ. They will conduct a hydrologic and a hydraulic analysis of the dam as follows. This is what you really don't want to do, but I'm going to explain it anyway. The hydrologic model is used to calculate the dam breach discharges for different breach events and provides different discharge scenarios. They will also calculate and illustrate the effect of a dam breach downstream of the dam to a point where the water surface elevation from the breach flood wave is 1 foot or less. The engineers will prepare a hydraulic model and calculate the water surface elevations downstream during a dam breach event. The map of the area inundated during a breach event will be created showing the area of the event. The engineers will prepare a report summarizing the dam breach analysis. They will include discharge data, water surface elevation of the breach events, and an inundation map. The engineers will also prepare an emergency action plan for the dam and will coordinate with Montague County and the city of Bowie and send a copy of the plan to both. The cost of inspection, H&H analysis, and emergency action plan is $19,500 and will be completely paid for by TCEQ. So that means it's not costing us a dime, and TCEQ informed me that probably after we get this information that the federal government may help us pay for the repairing of the dam if it is necessary. Stoney will present a report on the Nelson Street Bridge project during the agenda, as we had a meeting with Heugatter Engineering this past week. The project is now 70% design. We're also getting hints from TDM that the generator grants are about to be approved, which is good news. So we're just getting hints right now, but it was shown to us in a meeting that they had last week that going well. So any questions?
After they collect all this dam data, what kind of response or liability would they present? Or what kind of action would be determined from that, if anything?
Well, it just, the emergency action plan is almost required by TDM in order for, like, if there's some sort of a big deal. The Texas Department of Emergency Management wants to know that. Of course, that's one of the things that we're supposed to be doing. Like we have several different things that Kirk Higgins covers in his emergency management information, so this will just add to that. We've got an emergency action plan for the Amon Carter Lake Dam, but you know, we pretty much ignored the old lake for years, and so that somebody else is going to pay for this one for us, so that's a good deal.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, well, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the consent agenda items. You've got the write-offs, both utilities and library, and the minutes from the last meeting. So I would entertain a motion to accept all as presented. Love? Whoops, my pen's not working. Shaw? Post?
Aye.
Sproles?
Aye.
Shaw?
Yes.
Love? All right, being no business, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda is board reappointments. That was hard to say tonight. So Cindy is here, and it looks like all but one of our reappointments is here. Nope, two of our four are here. So we have to entertain these individually. Cindy, do you have anything you need to say first? So let's. Yes, you do. I will have to say you do. It's gonna be hard to do without my pen working, so I'm gonna let you call them. We'll take the first one, Jennifer Heugatter. I'll entertain a motion for Jennifer Heugatter to be reappointed.
So moved.
Sproles, do I have a second?
Second.
Post.
Okay, Shaw.
How many board members are there, and how many are we just doing 4 tonight? How many does your board have?
Well, I have 3 that are new appointments.
Total. What would they have? What would be your?
Well, the 4 and then Tracy and then the 3.
Yeah, it's fully charged.
Okay. All right. What am I doing? I don't doubt it.
Yeah, because this board is actually a working board, so they do chicken and bread, the parade, the July jam, sip and strolls. Did I leave anything out? Oh, hanging of the greens. So, yeah, this is a hands-on board. So we have a motion and we have a second.
Okay, Shaw,
Yes.
Love,
Aye.
Post,
Aye.
and Sproles. Aye.
Thank you. Let's move on to the second one, which is Chantel Housour. Do I have a motion to accept Chantel
So moved.
Shaw? Do I have a second?
Second.
Love?
Okay, Sproles. Aye. Post,
Aye.
Love,
Aye.
and Shaw.
Yes.
The third individual for reappointment is Sylvia Henning. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Post, do I have a second?
Second.
Sproles?
Okay, Post,
Aye.
Love,
Aye.
Shaw,
Yes.
Sproles. Aye.
The fourth for reappointment is Debbie Holbrook. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Shaw, do I have a second?
Second.
Post?
Love,
Aye.
Post,
Aye.
Sproles. Aye.
All right, so the next one is for new members. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into. Jamie, that was for you. The first one is for Vickie Howard. I think most of the people know her, most of the board knows her, I mean, the council knows her. So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Love, do I have a second?
Second.
Shaw?
Okay, Sproles. Aye. Post,
Aye.
Love,
Aye.
Shaw.
Yes.
The next is for Mildred McCraw. We all know Mildred. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Post, do I have a second? Do I have a second? See, she's the smart one.
I do have one question on this one. It says hobbies and leisure. This is trying to stay sane. Can you kind of enlighten us on how that happens? Trying to stay sane.
Sir, I'm sorry, but I hear you.
It's okay.
We're gonna-
That's probably the cure for trying to stay sane right there.
Yeah, probably. So, I have a motion by Post. So I need a second.
I second.
Sproles?
Okay, Shaw,
Yes.
Love,
Aye.
Post,
Aye.
and Sproles. Aye.
And the third is Jamie Rodden. She's in the crowd tonight. She's a worker. She's just moving from the chamber over to the Community Development Board. Do I have a motion for Jamie?
So moved.
I want to fight over it?
I
Okay.
got the Coke.
So we're going to go Post, second. Sproles?
Whoever. I'm all for it.
Sproles.
Okay, Shaw,
Yes.
Love,
Aye.
Post,
Aye.
Sproles. Aye. And thank y'all for all you do.
Yes, thank you all. Some of those get into it.
Yes,
So the new ones, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
been there, done that.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is new business, and Stoney's beginning to be a familiar face around here. So if you'd like to come to the podium.
Council and Madam Mayor and Mr. Cunningham. My first request tonight is we would like to replace the water line on Fanny, Virgil, and Young. That'll be your sheet that has the 1,164 feet. That current water line is a 2-inch water line. There are no fire hydrants in that area. So we're asking for the funds to change that out to a 6-inch water line and install 2 fire hydrants in that area. And that's a cost of roughly $38,000 we'd like to take from the infrastructure fund. Would you like me to go ahead and go to the next one?
At least go ahead and explain the two. We'll vote
All right.
on them separately.
The second one is basically when we come around Fanny, Virgil, or Young, Fanny and Virgil there, we're gonna go across and then tie in that other piece of Virgil and come all the way around Clay. And also set a fire hydrant in that area. That's also a 2-inch water line. And that would be replaced with a 6-inch water line. And that cost is roughly $28,000.
So haven't you told us in the past that all water lines, new water lines need to be a 6-inch if they have a hydrant?
Yes, it has to have a minimum 6-inch
Whether or not,
and 8-inch in commercial,
okay.
yes.
There's no fire hydrant at all?
No,
So this would help these folks' insurance as well.
I would assume so, yes.
Is this area part of our infrastructure plan that was planned all along? I mean,
Well, the plan that I'm working off of, I'm going anything that's 2-inch, a lot of the 2-inch water lines that we have still in there, that's the ones I'm trying to address first. For several reasons, they're not sufficient. There's no fire protection in those areas because you can't put a fire hydrant on 2-inch. Not only helps, the residents, it helps us, it helps the fire department. It's a win-win when you do that. And then we're gonna go back, once we get majority of those. I think the next one on my list is gonna be on Sessions. That's a big area, and there's a 2-inch water line that runs right down through the middle of it. So there's a lot of 2-inch water lines that still need to be addressed.
What percentage would you give it?
You're gonna put me on the spot, aren't you? I'd probably say 40%, 35 to 40.
So we're gonna put 1 hydrant on the second installation and 2 hydrants on the first installation.
Yes, I'm tried to split it up, and I don't have exact area. Basically, to be on the corner of Virgil and then the one over here on Young, right off of Wilbarger. And the Clay one, we're going to try to split the difference in the back there. So that'll reach the homes that are on the back side of the mobile home park.
So will these both be tied in, both be looped?
Yes, to the 6 inches or so on Wilbarger, yes.
On Wilburger?
Yes.
And will you do these simultaneously, or?
We'll probably do Young and Virgil and Fanny first.
Okay. What's, how many people would that service over in that area?
I believe there's 12 or 13 on this side, and I don't recall how many on the other side, but
Okay.
again, it's mainly because it'll access both the backside of the mobile home park and those in that area.
Yeah. Okay. What's our current, what's sitting in the infrastructure fund right now? Do we have those? I guess based off
I
of,
believe that
I believe
audit showed us,
600 and something thousand.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
any other questions for him on this? Because I'm gonna call for a vote. On the first one, we're gonna request Public Works for the 1,164 feet. Entertain a motion for the first section to be approved. Do I have a second?
second.
Okay, Sproles. Aye. Post,
Aye.
Love, and Shaw.
Aye.
And then the second request is for 873 feet, $28,000. Do I have a motion to approve? Love, do I have a second?
Second.
Post?
Okay, Love, Shaw.
I had one more question. The sewer over here, is that also being addressed? Is that, how does, because that doesn't run the same path is
The
water?
sewer on the backside of Clay, behind the mobile home park, that is going to be changed out, yes.
Same time, or
Probably not, because it's not in the
not in the,
initial 4 that we're gonna do off the, at the start.
okay. Yes,
Okay, Post
Aye.
and Sproles.
Aye.
Okay, now you're gonna give us the report we wanna hear.
Well,
You're
hand
not
out
gonna
these.
tell us what we wanna hear, you're just
I'm
gonna give us the
gonna hand the
report we
documents
wanna hear.
If y'all wanna see some more detail besides what he's passing out now, we have a copy of the plan.
I have a bigger copy of the plans if anybody would like to look at it.
They sent that, those copies this morning, and the copy that Tony had was all marked up by the engineer. So he planned to send it to me.
And I'll kind of go over the letter that Heugatter Engineering sent us, which would be Mike Tibbetts. As Bert said earlier, we met on the 18th. We discussed the project in depth. I won't go over everything that's on there, but it's basically, again, to replace everything in Nelson with 11 by 6 reinforced concrete boxes to take the place of the 3 36-inch culverts that are currently there. A lot of this stuff is done off the 100-year flood plan. I don't know if some of you weren't here but back in 2015, this was all engineered at 1.2, and I think the plans are kind of sticking with their recommendation also. Once you kind of go over this, I think somebody asked before, why does this cost so much, or projected cost so much? I mean, there's a lot of things in there. You've got old water lines, you've got old sewer lines, you got manholes that have to be addressed. A lot of those are under Nelson, some are under Lamb. So once you pull tear the street up and replace everything, it makes sense to go ahead and replace those lines. The line on Nelson, the water line, it's a 2-inch water line that's under there. So it's recommended, and I request that we replace that along with the sewer line that's under there. So it kind of goes, what they did was put everything together, the repairs on Nelson, the repairs on Lamb, replacing the drainage underneath Houston that comes over to Nelson and then runs along the edge. All that's in here. Because of the cost involved, if you look on the very back page there, he's going to set up the bid schedule so that the project as described above will be the base bid. So you'll be able to bid the whole project, but then we're going to have the option based on the final numbers to remove things. Now, Mr. Cunningham and the mayor and I had some extensive conversation about this, and I'll just put it out there. I do not see that Lamb is a necessity at this time, funding-wise. We would love to do it. I would love to do it, but I think we need to save our funds to handle Pillar and Rock. That's going to be our next big item. And I think once the engineer comes and does his presentation, I think you're going to hear the same thing. But it is all in the bid. I can't speak on the funds. We don't have a number yet. That's Mr. Cunningham's position to find out what we can and can't afford. But it is all in the packet and will all be bid. And we'll have the option to remove items that we feel we can't afford at this time.
How many people does Lamb Street affect? Was there 2 houses there?
One house on the end, it's more of a pass-through, I call it. There's actually one house.
I've had one person tell me that he didn't want us to fix it, and one of the people that live over there. And I've had 2 people tell me they would like to have it fixed. And nobody else has really said anything.
Now, the engineer, just to touch on, the engineer said what we have done there already, the water's flowing through there and it's working sufficient enough to where he doesn't feel that it's gonna create a problem as far as not fixing it at this time. Again, I just view that Pillar and Rock is, you got a four-way intersection there, it's got a lot more traffic, and we've done all we could do to do that to maintain it. We're already having some more issues. I don't know how many of you went over and looked at it, but I think if you go look at it, I think you may tend to agree with me on this. But again, it will all be put in the bid, and again, it's gonna come down to the funding.
Sounds like that's gonna be pretty much the key for everything.
Right. And if you recall, when I brought this, I know it's been a long time, that, you know, we're working backwards. We should be working up the other end and working ourselves backwards, but you know, you gotta look at what we need to get done to get the traffic flowing through for the school and whatnot. So it's just a big project because you're tying you got stuff the drainage that comes from Houston that comes across Mill, and then all that ties in together, so it all has to be done at one time. So that Houston, Mill, and Nelson, that's, to me, that's your main thing, your main focus that we should try to repair at this time.
On the back side of the letter, you'll see the items that we chose to be deducted on the bid, so that we can see what we might be able to afford and what we might not to. I've already talked to government capital about borrowing money. That's not a problem if we want to, you know, borrow some money to do this. So
I know this is gonna be a continuing project that throughout the years. Is this gonna be a majority of it right here? I know, probably the most expensive, because you said there's more downstream that we've gotta take care of.
Yeah, we haven't even looked at that yet. I mean, just to remind you, we still have Cooper Street, the bridge that needs to be repaired, the bridge on Mill that goes
Further
into.
downstream.
Yes, no, that'd be further back.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
So it'll go Cooper, Mill, and then Nelson.
I've made a federal government grant application for Mill Street, for Cooper Street, and Pillar and Rock. Pillar and Rock runs over $1 million. Now, that's an estimate from the engineer, but the whole project, all three bridges, is right at $3 million for those other three bridges.
So we're not far off of my $6 million I projected about a year ago. So basically, like I said, we'll have that option once the bid is put out, depending on the funds that we have available. He did tell us that he would have something back to us within 4 weeks, which is also stated in this letter, which he'll be at about 90% level. That will be enough to let us review everything and then hopefully go out to bid within probably 6 weeks total. So I'm going to say between the next 6 to 8 weeks.
I would highly recommend each of you to either sit down with Stoney or me and look at the big plan so you can kind of see, so we can explain it to you, so that, you know, when the time comes, you can make an intelligent decision about, you know, if you want to cut this out or cut that out. I'll have more numbers by then, or he should have some estimates and whatnot, and I'll also have some estimates on the financing if we decide to borrow any money to do it, so.
And every time that you put something here, that's just going to drive the price up. And I would like to point out that the creek or the open channel that's there already on Nelson, that's going to be in this bid. I think that's something
That keeps it from eroding.
yes, that we need to try to do that piece of it. So.
And we're gonna also do an additive bid to line the bottom between Mill and Nelson.
On the other side, yeah.
Yeah, on the other side, as an alternate bid also, so. We're just taking a look at everything that we'd like to do.
Part of the reason the cost has increased is because once they did all their surveying and things, because we're going with bigger culverts at Nelson, that's gonna raise the road up about 1 foot. So in order to keep from having a dip there, you're gonna have to bring your slope back in your road, so you'll have a better approach to it. Same thing you'd have to do on Lamb. Lamb, you'd have to replace the sewer line that's currently running under the creek bed there already, and then change out manholes. I mean, it's just one thing,
Right.
after another when you get this involved in it.
I mean, it's an expensive project, but it's gonna be necessary. I mean, there's no way around it.
Well, like I
So
said,
let me
it
ask you a
doesn't, it
question.
doesn't do any good reasoning to go in there and rip all that out, put it in, and then not replace the water and sewer lines that are under it that are 50 years old.
So when we're talking about this, we know as soon as this is done, I know you've told me a dozen times, we're going to have to do something at Rock and Pillar. When we get to Rock and Pillar, are we gonna have the same issue with water, sewer, gas?
I did call and talk to Atmos because someone was telling me that's been there a while. They thought there was an 8-inch gas line in there, which I found highly unlikely. It's just a 2-inch. The water and sewer, there is sewer over there, but I kind of have a plan on that because the biggest problem over there is it comes around that corner up Rock and then it has to make a 45 to cross over. Talking with the engineers, I would like to take that back and try to line it up to where it's coming on that first curve of the creek before it comes around. I'd like to line that up and come straight across and then just fill all that in. We'd alleviate all that problem. It actually helps the homeowners there because when the water comes out of the creek bed, it's going to be further away. So there's a design-wise, yeah, I mean, I don't see it being as big a problem. I just see it being as costly.
And Rock and Pillar, probably 50 to 75 foot downstream is really all we'll have to worry about, riprap and concrete bottom, because from that point on downstream, it flows just fine.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of erosion in that area past that, so.
Basically.
I would like to make a suggestion to the city council members, because this is in my precinct, is to take a drive over there when we're having a storm. And you'll see how important Rock and Pillar is, and of course Lamb and Mill. But it can be terrifying over there. I drive over there, you know me, I love the storms. So I go and I look, and I've seen the damage and the and everything that Stoney is saying. I totally respect his opinion on it, and I agree with him. It's an educated opinion.
So will these larger culverts stop the flooding that like took place at the last big rain? Cause it flooded pretty bad over there. Is that gonna be able to handle that type of water?
And I'll be totally honest with you on that. And this is my opinion. When we did what we did, that was temporarily, a temporary fix, that helped move the water out. The water couldn't get out at Pillar and Rock because the culverts were collapsed there, and we dug those back and left the best we could. Even when it rains, a little 3 or 4 inch rain, that whole creek is full. Mm-hmm. Here's what's gonna happen. When we open Nelson up, and to make it flow better, you're gonna blow Pillar and Rock out. I'd almost put money on it. It's gonna happen. Because it can't handle what it has now, and it's gonna get there a lot quicker.
If some of this cost is, like you're saying, you're looking at similar to maybe more expensive on Pillar and Rock, as you move further down the line, does any of that alleviate it if we, say, roll this into the same project? If we try to knock all this out at the same time?
I can't answer that because I'm not in charge of
Yeah.
distributing the funds, so I can't tell you that. In a perfect world, yes, you're correct. It'd be smart to get it all done.
But I don't want, I'm gonna say this because of how long it's taken us to get this. I don't want to delay this. I want our council to know the very next thing we talk about is Rock and Pillar and know that that's on the agenda. But man, I don't want to wait another year.
But
For
if
this
we're saying, hey,
information.
we're gonna have another catastrophe over there and just go ahead and wash that all street out, which sounds pretty likely to me, why would you not wanna,
No,
drive
you
around it
misunderstood.
a little
I
bit
want
more?
us to go, I want us
know
to be
that, but I'm
prepared to
saying
do this next
we
project.
can get the whole thing done? Just a suggestion, obviously, there's no
Well,
way to
to
really judge
touch on that a little bit, I think what the mayor is trying to say is we get this started, even if we start on that, you're looking at 6 to 8 months before, and
Sure.
all you can hope for right now is we make it through this rainy season, get this started, and then start working on that. But you're right, you need to get the ball rolling, to get the engineering done and all that stuff lined out, so you'll be prepared at this time, maybe next year.
While we're doing construction, they can work again on another plan, but
What are they projecting how long this is gonna take?
Having any idea. It's gonna depend on what we decide we can afford to do.
What, are you satisfied with what you've seen from them so far?
As far as the design he's presented us, yes.
Is it appropriate for this size of project and this scale, what we're trying to do?
Yes.
Okay.
And again, if you take more time and break it down, there's a lot in there.
There is.
There's a whole lot in there. I mean, just coming across Houston and Mill there with that drainage there, that's gonna be a big deal, because we're gonna tear that whole street up. Because we're gonna have to come right down the middle of it and then make a turn.
Hopefully, we can time it to coincide with most of the work on Mill and Nelson will be not during school, so it may take a while to get there. We'll just have to see, because, we can work on Nelson because it's already blocked off, and we can work on Lab, it's already blocked off. But working on the intersection will be extremely difficult.
It's gonna be difficult, but isn't the school starting earlier now?
August the 7th.
So that's,
So we'll never touch it before August the 7th.
no, we're gonna, at some point, it's gonna affect.
Oh, we won't, I don't think it'll get done that quick, so it'll be later on, so maybe we can delay it, the work on that intersection.
And you told us before, how long before they have the final plans and figures and everything? It said 6 weeks.
He told us 4 weeks, and he'll give us 2 weeks to review it, so 6, and then it could go out for bid, so that's why I said 6 to 8 weeks. So you're still looking July, August.
By the time that we get 90% bid or done, we'll have some preliminary numbers, so.
That's the whole key. When we get some actual numbers, then, you'll know what you need to work with, so.
So we're looking at borrowing money. I mean, you just need to go ahead and, yeah.
Yeah, he's ready to go anytime we are. We just gotta get some numbers first, but I've got some other things in the planning process of another way we can pay for some of this stuff, and when we get into the budget, I'll let y'all know what that is, and y'all make that decision, so.
Anybody have any more questions for Stoney? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job, Donnie.
Thank you. All right, well, that was the last thing on our agenda unless we have any public comments. Okay, then we're gonna adjourn at 6:38.
Oh, I said don't say it.